Every World War II film you have watched has sold you a false version of how combat actually worked. Not tiny errors, giant, physics-defying, historically impossible mistakes that would have gotten real soldiers killed in moments. For 8 decades, the same battlefield myths have been recycled. Millions now believe that is how the war unfolded. Let us break them apart, one by one. Myth number 10. Soldiers sprinted across open beaches. The movies show dramatic charges up the sands of Normandy. That is fiction. Here is what really happened on the morning of June 6, 1944. Men crawled on their bellies for 3 to 4 hours. The average pace was about 12 yards per minute. Slower than a baby crawling. Real beach assaults meant hugging the ground behind the dead for cover, scraping shallow scoops with helmets, and inching forward whenever fire paused. One veteran put it bluntly, "We kept our faces in the sand more than we ever stood. Anyone who tried to run did not last." Myth number 9. Machine guns slaughtered everything. Hollywood loves the scream of the MG-42 and sweeping bursts that wipe out whole squads. Reality is colder and quieter. Mortars caused roughly 60% of infantry casualties. Machine guns were responsible for less than 10%. The math explains why. A mortar bomb has a kill radius of around 30 feet. A bullet is half an inch wide. German field manuals called the mortar the infantry's artillery. Real fights were decided by indirect fire you never saw on screen. Not dramatic machine gun duels. Myth number 8. Tank battles were high-speed duels. Films turn armor warfare into car racing with cannons. The truth is slower. The average tank fight opened at around 800 yards. The typical engagement speed was essentially stationary. Crews spent about 90% of their time halted, peering through periscopes, straining to spot targets first. Actual tank combat felt like deadly hide-and-seek with 40-ton machines. As one German tank ace admitted, "We sat still for hours." The first tank to move usually died. Try putting 4 hours of waiting into a blockbuster. Myth number 7. Snipers never missed. On screen, the sniper is a flawless marksman. Actual statistics from the war say otherwise. On average, a sniper fired about 20 rounds for each confirmed kill. Wind, rain, fog, smoke, and sheer exhaustion bent bullets and hid targets. Most successful shots were taken inside 200 yards. A Soviet sniper like Vasily Zaitsev recorded a longest confirmed hit of about 400 yards. Not the 1,000-yard miracles Hollywood adores. Real snipers won through patience, camouflage, and discipline, not superhuman aim. Myth number 6. Dogfights filled the skies. We picture Top Gun in propellers. That is wrong. The average fighter pilot sighted enemy aircraft on fewer than 5% of missions. Most sorties were uneventful patrols over empty sky. When combat did break out, about 80% of those shot down never saw their attacker. The typical engagement lasted under 90 seconds. American ace Robin Olds said it best. "Hours of boredom, seconds of terror." It is not exciting cinema, but it is how it happened. Myth number 5. Grenades made huge fireballs. In movies, a tossed grenade erupts in flame and throws bodies 10 feet into the air. Real fragmentation grenades do not make fireballs. They crack like a whip and spray fragments in a roughly 15-foot radius. No rolling flames. No human bodies flying. The Mark II grenade carried about 2 ounces of TNT. That is less explosive than a big firecracker. Grenades kill by shrapnel, not blast. A Marine veteran remembered that real grenades were almost disappointingly small. A hard pop, some dust, Then, people dropped. Myth number 4. Submarines fought surface gun battles. Films like Das Boot show dramatic duels topside. Actual doctrine was hard and fast. If spotted, crash dive in under 40 seconds. About 95% of attacks were made submerged. Surfacing to fight meant almost certain destruction. U-boats that chose to trade shots on the surface survived only about 12% of the time. A German admiral's standing guidance was simple. He who sees the enemy first has already won. Submarine warfare was about never being seen at all. Myth number 3. Soldiers could aim while sprinting. In the movies, troops run and shoot with pinpoint precision. Physics says no. U.S. Army studies found that hit probability while moving was under 1%. Standing still, it rose to about 12%. In the prone position with support, it climbed near 40%. Real doctrine was built around this truth. Stop, aim, fire, then move. The classic 3 to 5 second rush was the limit for crossing ground under fire. The British Infantry Manual of 1943 spelled it out. Fire and movement means first fire, then movement. Never both at once. Myth number 2. Night battles were well lit. Hollywood loves moonlit combat, where everyone can see. Real night fighting was nearly blind. No night vision. Limited flares. Thick darkness. Most nighttime firing was aimed at sounds, not shapes. Friendly fire casualties climbed by about 400% after dark. Units got lost trying to move 50 yards. One paratrooper said Normandy felt darker than being buried alive. We shot at anything that moved, including our own side. Night action was confusion and fear, not clean choreography. Myth number 1. Individual heroes won the war. The biggest myth of all. Films show lone warriors turning the tide. The math says otherwise. World War II was decided by logistics and industry. The United States produced roughly 300,000 aircraft. Germany produced about 100,000. The Soviet Union built around 90,000 tanks. Germany built roughly 45,000. Bravery could not cancel those numbers. General Omar Bradley said it well. Amateurs talk strategy. Professionals talk logistics. The less glamorous truth is more chilling. Real combat in World War II was slow and methodical. Battles were dominated by arithmetic. Men crawled through mud. They hid from indirect fire they could not see. Most casualties came from artillery thrown from 5 miles away, not from cinematic duels with rifles and machine guns. Engagements were won by who delivered more shells, more fuel, more spare parts, not by who shouted the bravest line before charging. Survival favored the invisible, not the heroic. But invisibility is not flashy, so the screen keeps lying to us. It shows soldiers sprinting with perfect aim, tanks racing at 60 miles per hour, MG-42 bursts mowing down everything, lone heroes altering history in a single afternoon. These myths become reality for millions who think a famous beach landing movie shows typical combat. It does not. The real story of World War II lives in the math of artillery, the psychology of suppression, and the quiet horror of indirect fire. None of that explodes as neatly on camera. The veterans knew this. They did not come home telling tales of glorious charges and flawless shots. They spoke, when they spoke at all, about hours in wet holes, firing at hedgerows that might hide a threat, and watching friends vanish under converging barrages. They understood war was not about single acts of boldness. It was about collective endurance inside an industrial storm. So the next time a World War II scene rolls across your screen, translate it. Every running figure should be crawling. Every bright night sequence should be nearly pitch black. Every tank revving flat out should be sitting still, turret hunting, Every glorious charge should be a calculation. Remember who really won. Factories, not heroes. Tonnage, not courage. Drab logistics, not dramatic set pieces. That truth may not win awards, but it is the war the veterans actually survived.